Before we get into today's content, I want to give a big shout out to my man Daniel Miles, who sent me this soccer jersey all the way over from the UK. Massive Ravens fan. He said, "Hey, look, Joey, I love the show, but I need you to be repping my home team of Stoke City." So I'm doing exactly that. Appreciate you, man. Really pumped up about this, and let's go Potters. Okay, back to real American football, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Adam Schefter yesterday, per usual, weighed in on the Baltimore Ravens coaching search, and he said some things that I thought were really interesting, and frankly, at the time, I agreed with them. He said they're sitting back. They're letting Atlanta hire. They're letting Miami hire. They're letting Tennessee hire, and these would not have been the hires that the Ravens would have made anyway. So all these candidates are coming off the dance floor, and then in the end, they're going to pick some guy that's going to come in there and probably be as much of a success as many as their top draft picks has been. Now, this was early in the day yesterday, around 9:30, that Adam Schefter said this. And basically the point that he was making was the Baltimore Ravens are going through this coaching search the exact same way that they go through the NFL draft, where they like to stick and pick. They rarely get aggressive and move up in the draft, and Schefter was basically saying they're not going to get aggressive and just go ahead and hire somebody in the first couple days of their search. They're going to let it take its time. That was 9:30, and then 1:30, Matt Zenitz reported that defensive coordinator Jesse Minter is interviewing in person today with the Ravens for their head coaching job. Jason La Canfora, around the same time, NFL Insider, tweeted execs from multiple NFL front offices who are conducting head coach searches believe the Ravens are moving close to a final decision and strongly anticipate Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter getting the job. The industry also expected Minter in Baltimore before Harbaugh was even let go, for what it's worth. And then the marketplace odds just shifted dramatically, 85% to Jesse Minter. Weaver, Brady, Kubiak, they were kind of left in the dust, okay? So I, at that point yesterday, was preparing every which way for Jesse Minter to be announced as the Baltimore Ravens head coach. It just felt like that was going to happen. He came in for the second round interview, the Rooney Rule. Ravens are already compliant in it. More news on that in a second. I made sure it had my notifications on, made sure I had my ringer on last night when I was hanging out watching TV with my wife. And then, around 9:20, Josina Anderson tweeted out the Ravens have concluded their interview with the Chargers defense coordinator Jesse Minter, I'm told. So we knew at that point it was over. And if something was going to happen, I thought it was going to happen in the next 30 minutes, and then nothing. Absolute crickets. And to me, that was decently telling. Now, I'm not saying Jesse Minter's out of the running. If anything, I think he's even more in the running than he was going into yesterday. But I feel like yesterday, the Ravens truly proved their plan to me. And they truly proved what Adam Schefter was saying in general in the beginning, that their plan was to sit, wait, and not go ahead and just go through and rush this process. That they were fine just sticking where they were and kind of being cool with letting the board come to them. Another interesting thing to note, Kevin Oestreicher tweeted this late last night from Diana Rossini, who said, I know for a fact that Lamar Jackson and those receivers would like Cliff Kingsbury to run their offense. They've shown support. They've been vocal about it. Lamar Jackson's part of these interviews. I believe she, in that quote, is referring to the offensive coordinator position, not the head coaching position. I don't want Cliff as head coach. I think I'd be fine with him as the offensive coordinator. But anyway, it's starting to seem, day by day, hour by hour almost, that the Baltimore Ravens are kind of revealing their plans in this search for a totally new staff. More on Minter in a second. But real quickly, look, when the Ravens make a hire, I promise you, we will make a video as soon as possible. So make sure you stay in the loop. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications. Select all and then enable YouTube notifications on your device. So that way, whenever we do make that video, you guys can get updated as quickly as possible. So that's kind of where we were with the Jesse Minter stuff as of this morning. But then, about 15 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, Jordan Schultz tweeted out that Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter has canceled a scheduled meeting with the Cleveland Browns for today. He is believed to be in serious consideration for other head coaching jobs, including Baltimore. Schultz then went on to tweet that he interviewed with the Ravens, and I'm told it went very, very well. Now, Cleveland was not going to be able to hire him anyway because they aren't Rooney Rule compliant. What is the Rooney Rule, you ask? Well, great question, because a lot of people might not know what it is. Basically, it is a rule when looking for an offensive coordinator, head coach, or a defensive coordinator that you must conduct 2 in-person interviews with minority candidates. And the Cleveland Browns had not done that yet. And up to this point, they still have not done that, right? And so, even if Jesse Minter did go on that interview, it's not like they could have just straight up, flat out hired him in general because they hadn't crossed off the Rooney Rule. They haven't met the Rooney Rule standards yet. Meanwhile, the Baltimore Ravens have. Their 2 interviews with minority head coaches in person, Mike McDaniel and Anthony Weaver. So as of Anthony Weaver's in-person interview, I believe it was on Tuesday, the Baltimore Ravens officially became Rooney Rule compliant, which is why we thought there was a chance that Jesse Minter was going to get hired last night. So obviously, the Browns are not a team to worry about. They rarely are in any sense of the word. I will say the one team to watch out for, like if you feel like there is competition with Jesse Minter or for Jesse Minter, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, that is the team that I would watch out for. Now, like the betting odds, the marketplace odds, they don't necessarily reflect that, but it makes a lot of sense. He's already had 2 interviews there, and he's got a lot of ties. Starting off with Michigan. He was the Michigan DC from 2022 to 2023, won a national championship there. Tom Brady and John Spytek, both their general manager and part-time owner, both went to Michigan. Also, there's the added bonus for the Las Vegas Raiders is to steal from the Chargers. Mark Davis likes coaches who has AFC West experience, and the Chargers, how can you not like this? After Week 18, after the regular season concluded, 20.1 points per game through Week 18, number 7 in the National Football League. What do you think is his next team? Or I guess where do you think is his next team? Let me know by giving me a BAL or an LV down below in that comment section. Real quick, we got to shout out our awesome sponsor of today's show, our friends over at Ethos. And as you know, my wife, Kennedy, and I got married almost 2 years ago. I imagine we'll buy a house and maybe start having kids sometime soon. Something were to happen to me, the last thing I want the people I love to worry about is being able to pay the bills. So I trust Ethos to keep them protected. After watching someone close to me go through loss, I saw how quickly grief can turn into financial stress. That experience changed how I think about protecting my family. Life insurance isn't about expecting the worst, but it's about making sure the people you love are supported no matter what. That's why I recommend life insurance through Ethos, which you can get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Application times, of course, may vary. As of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. And if you don't believe that, well, how about this? Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/NFL Daily. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times and rates may vary. Adam Schefter continued on the reporting earlier this morning that Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady, who interviewed Wednesday for Buffalo's head coaching job, is in Baltimore to interview with the Ravens today. I'm not going to lie. Okay, I'll shoot you straight. I'm not very interested at all in Joe Brady being the next head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Like, that just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. I don't see him necessarily as a leader. I don't see him as a head coach. I don't see him as a guy that can get motivated or that can get his players motivated on either side of the ball to go and play for him. Like, if you somehow land him as the offensive coordinator, sure, that would be cool. Like, I'd be happy with that. Be fine. But, like, as your head coach, I'm not there. Like, excuse me. I think what he's done recently, Buffalo is impressive. Obviously, what he did in 2019 with LSU was impressive. But I think he's just gotten lucky to be around some of the greatest players on earth. That 2019 LSU team, people argue, is the best college football team of all time. With Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Then he's been with Josh Allen for the last 4 seasons. And regardless of what you think of Josh Allen as a Baltimore Ravens fan, I think we can all admit Josh Allen's a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the National Football League And sometimes Josh Allen's heroics masked Joe Brady, in my opinion. Like to this, I'm like, thanks, but no. Not super interested in it. Really wouldn't do it. I've got some tiers that I want to go over before we get out of here. Now, they've interviewed far more candidates than what you see up here. But, like, at the same time, these are the only guys I think have a legitimate chance to be the Ravens' next head coach. Home run hires, Brian Flores, Clint Kubiak, Jesse Minter. Okay? I think those would all be home runs. In that order as well. Now, Brian Flores did get an extension with Minnesota yesterday, but that doesn't mean he's out of the running for head coaching jobs. It just means he's not going to take another DC job. Clint Kubiak, you can't talk to him for a second time until after they play this weekend. Jesse Minter, we discussed enough. Anthony Weaver, Chris Shula. Both those guys, like, I would see that as good. Fine. Wouldn't be super pumped up about it, but, like, I'm not going to be mad about it. No thanks, Joe Brady, Cliff Kingsbury, Davis Webb. Now, for those three guys, sure, you could be my OC. I don't want you as my head coach. That's going to do it for today's show. We are going to get on out of here. Make sure you guys got me followed on socials. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. And again, shout out to my main man, Dan.